Ah! Sky is falling, everybody. Welcome back, Buff Nation. If you haven't heard, you're living under a rock. Cormani McClain has entered into the transfer portal, and you think the season's over. Wrap it up, call it a quits, turn the lights out, we're headed home. We got to talk about it. Roll the intro. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. So we actually had a show yesterday. We spoke about a few of the guys going into the portal. Wasn't too concerned. Then the flash happens. The big fish in the pond makes a big kaboom, and Cormani McClain entered into the portal. Now, if you've been following along with this channel, you kind of had a pulse on it. You know, you're not completely blindsided by this. And I think about 2 weeks ago, I came on here and said things seem weird. Not saying he's going into the portal, but there is some question marks. I got blasted in the comments. Thankfully, all of those people right now are busy writing a handwritten letter saying that they apologize for their comments and they are greatly appreciated. Now, look, this back, I think it was like spring break. It kind of started that he was going to be transferring out of Colorado, going back to Miami FSU, what have you. I didn't look anything into it. I said, look, this is nonsense. And I believe that it was at that time. But what happened a few weeks ago is that he wasn't seen anywhere on campus, wasn't seen at practice, wasn't seen participating. Then there was a clip that came out of Coach Prime talking about players and just their issues in the classroom. There was a clip last year of Cormani Prime was kind of taking a little jab at Cormani having issues in the classroom. So I maybe put the two together that this could be a possibility. Again, a lot of question marks. Then you have the video from Well Off Media, which is Coach Prime's son, asking him, hey, are you leaving? This is during the pro day, which is not too long ago. He goes, I'm not transferring. Let it be. Now, that doesn't, you probably just trying to keep the smoke off his back. It is what it is. But now the news breaks today. He is transferring, and oh my golly, it's like fly on honey with the haters, boys and girls. They are just swarming everything, chomping at the bits here. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Look, we're going to break this down in a couple different ways. Is it a big deal? No. Kids come and go all the single time. It's not a huge deal. Is it a massive loss? If you see this cornerback room, it's something I've been talking about this entire time. Let me pull up the depth chart here for just a moment here. The cornerback room, and you got to think DJ McKinney, Oklahoma State has been balling out in spring practice. I got to imagine that Cormani McClain was probably fighting for a spot alongside Preston Hodge, Ramarian Cooper, Travis Hunter, and DJ McKinney. Okay? That's who he's fighting with. True freshman. And then you got Isaiah Harge, Adam Hopkins, and a couple other guys that are coming in as well. So that room is very thick at the moment. Now, what I do hate about Cormani McClain leaving for the Buffs is the depth part of it. You would love to see Cormani stay in this system, kind of what Travis Hunter did. Took his time, allowed for him to develop, and became the superstar that he is. Cormani just didn't have that patience. And look, this is something that I think people have to realize and are realizing with this NIL era. There was some rumors. I was reading through some of the boards to see kind of where the pulse was on this. It felt like it was playing time, possibly more NIL money. Again, it's all speculation. I wouldn't really look into it too much. It's probably a combination of all of it. If I had to guess, probably a little bit of I want to play, I want to be the guy, and it's like, well, you got to earn it. Probably a little bit to do with getting pressure with grades and whatnot. Again, what tells you a big story? Because everybody's gonna have speculations that he left. It's the ship's sinking. Coach Prime doesn't have a pulse on his program, and then on the other side of it goes, Coach Prime pushed him out, doesn't want it. Blah 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 blah. The truth is somewhere usually right there in the middle, okay? Probably a little bit of both, if I had to guess. So what does that tell us? Just wasn't going to work out at the end of the day. What we will find out is which side has more truth to it, is what happens after this. Where does he go and how much success he has, okay? If he goes somewhere and balls out, then maybe, look, it was just oil and water. They couldn't figure it out. Coach Prime couldn't maybe maintain the ego. He didn't want to have to work with this. He felt that he was the guy, wasn't getting the opportunity. Goes to an A&M, goes to an Auburn, right? I could see an Old Miss, right? They pick him up and he thrives. Then it is what it is, and it looks like maybe, hey, Coach probably missed out on one, and could just be one of those things. It happens. It's the name of the game. The other side of it is falls off the map. We never hear from him again. And then it's like, okay, maybe there was some issues going on. I don't believe we'll ever get the full and true story out of all of this. Again, at the end of the day, these are just college kids trying to make the best of themselves. I want to see him succeed wherever he goes, whatever happens to him, whatever he tends to do. And in a way, he kind of gives me, Tim Tebow vibes in the sense of when Tebow went to the NFL, everywhere he went, there were so many eyeballs on him. It was almost more of a distraction for everybody involved, right? And it was at this point where it's like the guy couldn't breathe a certain way without people talking about it, ourselves included. We talked about him on the show as well too. He was a hot commodity. You always want to know what he was doing. It's kind of, again, it was that second transition from Travis Hunter. He was supposed to be the replacement for that. So it is something definitely that we've been following for quite some time now. So that leaves it to all of you. How do you feel about the situation? Where's your head at with it? Again, I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, as Buff fans, you got to figure out where your head's at with it. How are you going to deal with the situation? Is it a big loss? Again, following spring practice, we'll see what happens with this spring game. This also leaves the Buffs at 74 scholarship players. You're allowed to have 85 because they're up to 11 now that have entered into the transfer portal. We went over a few of them yesterday. Again, the names that have been leaving thus far, David Connor left just yesterday as well. I think early this morning, he was an inside offensive lineman that was a transfer from Florida. Again, size was never really there. That wasn't that huge of a loss, but the depth is going to be a major concern, especially with the lack of recruiting that the Buffs have been doing. Again, this is their formula, right? We're aware of this, 2040-40. We are fully aware of it. Again, it's unorthodox. So when these things start to happen, it's going to get the haters and everybody riled up in the sense of like it's failing. And look, because it doesn't follow the normal pathway of what other college football teams are doing, there's some question marks. And so now you're finding yourself in a situation in a thin team in a time where this transfer portal doesn't have a lot of track record of having success. We don't know yet. It's unknown. We're in unknown territory is mainly what we're getting at, right? So it doesn't mean it's going to be a failure. It's just the fact that it's unknown. So we'll see how it plays out. Again, there is a ton of people that have entered into the transfer portal thus so far. There's a few from Georgia, some big-time studs, 6'4" wide receiver. Not that Buffs need another wide receiver. Big defensive lineman, 2 big defensive players from Pitt. They already got a player from Pitt. They could pull one of those guys from there, that edge rusher, I believe, and a defensive lineman. They could use another defensive lineman over there at Colorado. So we'll see how it plays out. I know an offensive tackle left from Arkansas. Could take a look into that. So there are pieces and bodies that are becoming available as we are heading into the second portal cycle. And again, this is the first day of the transfer portal, and it's already a complete mayhem. Miami's lost a couple of players as well, 6-7 players. So it's just the name of the game. When you got a guy that goes out there, feels like, hey, I can go start somewhere else and I can play and I can maybe make a little more NIL money, it's going to be the name of the game. So in a way, Colorado is prepared and positioned for this opportunity. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be a blast regardless. But I want to know from all of you guys, how you feeling about the situation, the Cormani McClain thing. It's almost like I feel like from following it for the last 2 years, it's kind of like, it was fun. Appreciate you while you were here. But we're just trying to play some football. It got to the point where it was exhausting, honestly, because it was like, again, the key, he's speed, not going to class. Like, where's he at? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. No more. No need to worry about it. Let me know in the comment section below how you guys feel about it. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace and love, baby.